What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Straight Facts, a sports show that educates and entertains. I'm your boy, James Jackson. You might be a little surprised hearing my voice open up the show. My guy, Kyle Sarek, who's also here, stepped in for me last week, did one hell of a job, but I'm back ready with my guys. Like I said, Kyle Sarek, Stat Matt Robinson on the way. No Jake Galley. Okay, we're like the Nets, can't get a full roster out here, but it's actually his 5-year anniversary, man. Big blessings to our guy, Jake Galley, 5-year anniversary with his girlfriend, Sarah. It is great. But Jay can't steal all the shine for this episode. We have a big one that leads me right into the facts straight at you. And I don't do this often, y'all. I really don't. But it's like time to give Steph Curry a little bit of shine for the season that he's having. I really don't do it often, but I'm going to do it right now. Steph Curry is in the midst of 9 straight 30-point games for the Warriors, averaging 38.2 points per game in that span. That's most by any player in a 9-game span in NBA history. 32 against Chicago, 36 against Miami, 37 against Atlanta, 41 against Milwaukee, 32 against Washington, 38 against Houston, 53 against Denver, 42 against OKC, and then last night, 33 against Cleveland. And Matt, this was you. Before the podcast, when we asked him what we were going to talk about this week, immediately you said the quiet, great season that Steph Curry was having. Everyone knows about the 9 straight 30-point games. Everyone knows that he's been in and out of the MVP conversation. He's doing Steph things, just not on a really good team. So why is it quiet? Why is it a quiet, really good season for Steph Curry?
It's because the Warriors are struggling for a playoff spot right now. Curry's averaging a career high in points at the age of now 33. His numbers look like his MVP numbers, and you look at the advanced numbers, his box plus minus, he's tied with Embiid for third in the league. It's a travesty, the team he's playing with, because I know you guys are gonna say he's not making the team better, but I just think it's a tough hand to be dealt with. Like I view it kind of like a Harden a couple years ago. The Rockets went 41-41, and he got left off like the third team All NBA team because he got like criticized for being 41-41. I think this Curry season is kind of like that. I think he should be first team or second team All NBA, no question.
Yeah, I think the reason it's called a quiet, great season is simply because of the fact the Warriors are 9th in the West. I mean, they're not even in the playoff spot right now. Let LeBron have a great season where they don't make the playoffs. I mean, it just can't happen. But respect to Steph, and I actually think that, Steph's the type of dude, especially the team now, that he has to put on his back. He wants to make the playoffs. He might make this like a 15-game spin because he could go out any night and drop 30, and he knows that. And he's allowed to take 25 shots a game if he wants to. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be surprised to actually see him keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, I think you make 2 really good points, Kyle. One, let LeBron, have any of this. We know the standard is different between LeBron and anybody else, but in particular when it comes to LeBron and Steph Curry, like we have a tough time drawing the same lines in the sand for a 2-time, MVP, a unanimous MVP as we do for LeBron James. But this isn't about LeBron. This is about Steph. But when you talk about the Warriors and where they are, like, yes, he could go out and for the next 5 to 10 more games put up 30 points, 35 points per game. He could do that, but it comes at a cost. Like you see him on the sideline screaming to his team, like, have some passion, care, do something. And then it looks like he goes out and it looks like for majority of the time, he's the only one giving that kind of max effort, that kind of max passion, even like over Draymond over times. Like he's the only one doing that on his team. So when I say he's not carrying the weight, it's not like he's not going out and putting up numbers that he should. It's not like he's not going out and trying to make his team better, but it looks like he's like the scoring outbursts and these montages that he's doing. It's not employing any kind of inspiration, any motivation to the rest of his team. Like these 30-point games seem empty. Like I gave all the point totals for those 9 straight games. I didn't give the win totals though. Like the win totals, I mean, it doesn't stack up too much. They're still 10th in the West. I know the Warriors are 1-7 without Steph Curry, but they're not crazy much better with him. They're
27 and 21.
The only reason they're fighting for a playoff spot is because there's a play-in tourney. Like any other year, they're two seeds out of a playoff spot, and I'm very much on the outside looking in.
They're 27 and 21 when Curry plays. That's definitely playoff team level. And you're right, it's not LeBron because LeBron is the GOAT. He's in the Kobe tier of somewhere between 10 and 15th best all time. And Kobe, after Shaq left, the Lakers were 7 seeds and they won 45 games. Kobe played all the games, and Kobe put up great numbers. And he was second or third in MVP voting one of those years. And Kobe actually missed the playoffs the first year Shaq was gone. Mm-hmm. And I think Curry's having a season like that. Like having a box plus minus that's third in the league, like I said, that means they're 8 points better on the court than when he's off the court. Mm-hmm. If you look at their offensive rating, when the Warriors have Curry on the floor, they're the 13th best offense this year. That doesn't sound impressive. When Curry is off the floor, they're the worst offense of any NBA team over the past 5 seasons. It's monumental what he does to that team.
You're trying to say he's doing it all. That's what you're trying to say. He's doing it all for the Warriors. Without Steph Curry, the Warriors are what?
They go 10-62 without Steph Curry.
I don't know about 10
wins. But... I mean, Kyle, who else is pulling weight? His second best player right now is Draymond Green, and sometimes he don't even score. Like sometimes he literally don't put the ball in the basket. Like
I would argue Wiggins is the second best player right now.
Okay.
I don't think Draymond's having the best year.
Second, right. Okay, second best offensive player is probably Andrew Wiggins. All around, like would you rather have Andrew Wiggins or Draymond Green? I maybe that's a toss up, but
Draymond. It's tough at this point, but probably Draymond. But that 10-62 is a little ridiculous to me. But now that I'm thinking about it more, I don't think they get more than like 15.
Yeah, 15 or 16 is like the max. Without Steph
I don't
Curry
think they get too much more. And Wiseman just got hurt. Like, what I will give Steph is he is putting the team on his back. I mean, he's averaging career highs in points, averaging career highs in rebounds. 5.5 rebounds a game for a point guard, especially like Steph, is crazy. He's going out there to win every night, but going by the stats, it's tough to see his impact.
That's what it is. It's tough to see the impact. Like there's a difference between scoring a bunch of points and not really moving the needle much for your team in terms of, wins.
Yeah, but he's efficient. He has a 66% true shooting percentage.
And that is all well and dandy, and that's great for him. And I'm happy at, good ups to, big ups to Steph for what he's doing, but you're still 10th in the West. So how much does it really mean at the end of the day? He could legally.
They're only a game out of the 8th seed.
No, but do you remember when Russell Westbrook led the league in scoring and they missed the playoffs? He won the scoring title the last game of the season and they missed the playoffs. And he was asked about it. And he was like, what does it mean to win your first scoring title? And he was like, jack shit. We're not in the playoffs. It doesn't mean anything. So you can do all of this, have the best season of your illustrious MVP type of career, all great type of career. But if you don't make the playoffs, how much does it mean? Did you really have that great of a season?
Yeah. And this is respect to Steph Curry, because we're literally holding him to the highest level he can be held to. Mm-hmm. I mean,
if this was Zach LaVine doing all this and the Bulls still didn't make the playoffs, we'd be like, man, Zach LaVine had one hell of a season. Give him all the But this is a champion. This is an MVP. So great. I'm glad you're scoring 30-point games. You still might miss the playoffs, and it still might not mean anything at the end of the day. Like this is a guy in Steph Curry who can do all of this, but he needs a running mate, and he needs another All-NBA type of running mate. Like since KD and Klay Thompson have gone down with injuries, they've looked great. Steph has looked great. The Warriors haven't.
Yeah, Klay's injury on top of his past injury is so devastating, because the West would be so much more fun with a Warriors team that actually was like really, really good instead of just like playoff contenders, because the Jazz are fun. The Suns are fun. Obviously, the Lakers and the Clippers are the heavyweights, and then the Nuggets, and then the Mavericks. And imagine if like a healthy Warriors with only Steph and Klay, not like the unfair KD-ness of those Warriors teams. Another team in the mix, they'd be so much more. The West, it would just be so much good basketball in the Western Conference, and instead we're stuck with an all-time great in his late aging all-time great at 33, just carrying garbage, and they might not even get it to the playoffs.
Carrying garbage, literally pleading with his team. I've seen a lot of things watching NBA. I don't think I've seen a person beg his team to care mid-game. Like, show me something. Show me some passion. Yelling at Kelly Oubre and company. Show me some passion. Show me something. And you're right. They're in the midst of this Wild Wild West Western Conference again, with the Phoenix Suns now at number one, or the Jazz still at number one. The Phoenix Suns right behind them at number two. Then you have the Clippers, Lakers, everybody there jostling for position. But 5 through 11 right now goes LA, Portland, Dallas, Memphis, Golden State at 9, San Antonio, and New Orleans. And everyone's really paying attention to that 7, 8, 9, 10, right? That's the play-in. Now 9, 10 is where the Warriors see themselves right now. Like, how good does it get? How good can it get? Is that the best that it gets? Is 9 and you try to scratch your way into the playoffs? Or is there a run that can be made by the end of the season?
I mean, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're all in that play-in tournament. I think the play-in tournament is the best they can get, and that's what they're shooting for. I can't see them getting to 6. I can't see any way. I mean, they're 4 games back at that 6 spot right now, but the Trailblazers, I don't see falling off that much, and I really don't know if the Warriors are going to, destroy enough to get to that spot. So I think the play-in tournament's the best it can get. And worst they can get is like 12 seed, and you're just nothing.
Shit, worst they can get is they can pack it in now and try and get another top 3 lottery pick or something like that.
I do want to say, now that we're talking about the Western Conference, a little Woj bomb came across my phone because I got alerts on, and I think Donovan Mitchell had a pretty serious injury.
Yeah.
Went to the locker room, non-contact, had to be helped off. So that's a horrible blow for the 1 seed in the West right now, the Utah Jazz.
I don't want to be mean about this, but I'm going to be. If the Warriors get the 8 seed through the play-in tournament, they could beat a Mitchell-less Jazz in the first round.
I think a lot of teams could beat a Mitchell-less Jazz.
I think a lot of teams could
beat a Mitchell-less
Jazz. But I also don't see a Mitchell-less Jazz holding on to that 1 seed that they're only a game up on.
How many games up are they on Phoenix?
1 game.
Oh, 1?
Yeah. And Phoenix playing the best, maybe.
And the Clippers are right behind that.
And the 2 teams behind them are maybe the 2 teams playing the best basketball in the league right now, in the Suns and the Clippers. So without Donovan, that's absolutely tough. All right, speaking of Donovan Mitchell and Steph Curry, because I had a question. Like, when I'm going through the script and looking at all these Steph Curry stats, I asked myself, and I want to know your guys' opinion: Is Steph Curry the best guard in the league? Is there a case to be made for Steph Curry being the best guard in the league? Not just point guard, but best guard. You could throw James Harden in there too. You could throw Bradley Beal in there. You can throw other guys that aren't point guards in there as well. Is he the best guard in the league?
That's so hard to me.
Him and Harden are 1-2. Him and Harden are 1-2.
Only 3 names are in that conversation for me. It's him, Harden, and Dame Lillard.
Dame, right.
I hold Dame to a
Kyrie's having a season where he's in the discussion, but he's usually not in the discussion.
Well, Kyrie got to show up to work to be in the discussion. Like, if Kyrie showed up to work all 82, he'd probably be in the discussion.
Yeah, I actually thought about this question too when we were looking at the scripts. I would say Steph is. I think Harden is so close and Dame is right there too. I think it's so close to, 0.1. I think Steph is.
Steph is number 1. Best guard in the league. What a 9 seed. What a 9-seeded team. I just want the.
What would Harden do on this team though?
I just want the standard to be the same. If Harden had a 9 seed, he wouldn't be in the discussion. If Dame Low had a 9 seed, wouldn't be in the discussion. Like the standard's got to be the same.
I agree, but let's flip it to like best player, right? A lot of people would say LeBron James. Well, can the 5 seed have the best player in the league?
Out of the 5 seed, apparently he's about to get the MVP. 4 or 5 seed about to get the MVP. So
the Nuggets, yeah. Well, I'm saying, like, I think the best guard can be on a 9 seed team because you clearly see no help.
That's true. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he's slightly better than Harden, but it's close.
It's close.
It's definitely close.
I think you're sleeping on Dame too, Matt. I almost want to say Dame's the best guard in the league.
It's those 3. It's a close race.
No, it's a 2. There's a 2-person tier,
not a 2-horse race.
And then it's a drop, and then you got Lillard and Kyrie and like that.
No, don't put Lillard with Kyrie, man.
Kyrie
Lillard's in there.
Kyrie this year has been great.
I think it's a 3-person race, though. I don't think there's a drop under Harden between Lillard.
And if there's a drop, it's not a cliff. The drop is slight. Even from Dame to Kyrie, like Dame, I have him above, but the drop is slight. The drop is very slight. But I don't.
There was actually
like A+ players. Dame's an A player. That's what I'll just call it.
Nah, I still can't say that. There was a point for me.
We do this. We almost get to the end of a segment. A question gets popped. Matt throws something out of left field and makes us go on a crazy tangent. And we're about to do it again. Because
there's a point for me.
Go ahead.
2 years ago, where I said Dame Lillard was the 5th best player in the league. Went down the list, and I fully believed it. And then it was funny because LeBron's son, Bronny, went through his top 5, and then it was a big thing, and everyone was like, Dame in the top 5. And I was like, wait, I kind of agree.
Right.
I think Dame is a tremendous player.
Problem, the NBA is so good right now. There's 15 players that are like top 5 players.
That's true. It does change. It's very fluid. It is a very fluid list that changes. But I do think Dame has what Steph is going through now. Dame has gone through for the past 2-3 years, especially when injuries happen, where it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of help. I mean, he went through the bubble last year and got his team in the playoffs with no Nurk, no McCollum. Like the weight that Steph Curry has had to pull for 60% of a season, Dame Lillard been doing that for the last 3-4 years in Portland, man.
Yeah, and he went to a Western Conference Finals.
No complaints. No complaints from this man. No media help for Dame. No, he doesn't have. He has no one to help him over there.
Did the Warriors have Durant in that Western Conference Finals when they swept Lillard? They did not.
They did not.
Steph went off that series.
Still had a much better team.
A+ versus A. A+ versus A.
Oh.
I can live with it. I don't agree with it, but I can live with it.
This is another agree to disagree kind of things because, like my man,
we're talking between an A+ and an A. Right, honestly, it ain't much of a difference.
Like my man Ahmad Smith knows. Shout out to Ahmad Smith, AKIS NBA. When Stat Matt thinks something, you're not going to change his mind. Ahmad Smith found that out the hard way.